joke between the two of you.
Who is a Hosier fan?
Do we have any Hozier fans?
Like Hosier? Do you like his new song, Too Sweet?
We love Too
Huge
Sweet.
song of the summer. Let's go.
Good stuff. So welcome Jennifer, welcome Jordan. It'd be great to get a bit of background on you professionally, but we want to talk about you as humans and as music lovers as well. But maybe just a quick 30 seconds on yourselves as professionals.
Ladies first.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer Fromer. I am a SVP at Sony Music, Columbia Records. I do brand partnerships, commercial licensing, and anything that's super cool to take an artist and do an amazing project with them with all sorts of partners and shapes and sizes.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jordan Saxemard, the new global CMO for Sonos. I used to work with Dyson about a month ago or so as the president, but now here we are in Cannes, so hey, Lions. And very excited and honored to be here today. I know this is the fourth day and we're all feeling it. To all of you that may have gone to some nice parties, right? I see some heads nodding. And thank you, Brand Innovators, for having us this morning.
Amazing.
Or afternoon.
Yeah. So marketers are humans too. Maybe you can talk a bit about the role music has played in your life, not as a professional, but just as a human. Understand you're a musician, Jordan, and Jennifer, you dabble in some singing as well. You're not here to release your joint album, I don't think, but
next year.
Next year. So yeah, Jordan and I are both musicians. I'm a singer, I'm a drummer. I've been in a lot of bands all my life. Music has played a very important role. It's been my savior. You know, starting as a teen, there's nothing more important than music. So yeah, there's nothing I would have done other than be able to either work in the music industry or be a rock star.
And yeah, there's actually write a lot of songs. Wrote about 100-something songs. Some of them are somewhere in the world and they're a different name, but I love music, and actually I'm really glad that 20 years into my career I'm finally able to express that through the passion of Sonos speakers and moving sound and all of that, which is very exciting. So it's like, how do you bring your passion into work and have fun and work hard and play hard? And I feel like this feels like the right balance.
That's great. I'm going to be a bit vulnerable for a sec and talk about something that's pretty lame about myself, but one of my father of 3 young daughters, I don't get a lot of me time, but when I put on headphones and vacuum with my Dyson vacuum, the world ceases to exist and I get to do my little like dance and rap along with my thing.
Awesome.
So
I love that.
You got to find those little times.
So do you have your Sonos Ace headphones that came out 2 weeks ago? Okay, I'll make sure I'll hook you up.
Amazing. So you made a joint announcement yesterday. I know the details are a bit under wraps, and I don't want to get any lawyers involved, but maybe you can expand a bit on how that came to be.
Yes, and it's still, something that is sort of confidential, but we're doing a joint partnership with the incredible Jennifer, where we really want to make sure that we have a platform for artists and creators to redefine music and actually have those artists understanding that creators and the creator industry is huge, but how do we bridge the two, right? We always talk about creators, we talk about artists, but how do we actually bridge the gap with technology? This is where we come in from a Sonos standpoint and actually come up together. And we had a great other moment yesterday where we premiered an unreleased song from an artist that has 45 million followers on TikTok, and I think we got some pretty good feedback from that.
So to advance our announcement yesterday, we did something which has never been done at the Lions before, where we crowdsourced an original unreleased track from an artist named Jojo Siwa, and we allowed the audience to participate in the version of the track that is going to be used in Sonos Creative. Never ever been done before in the history of the Lions, where we engage the audience to help us determine what a new music sound is going to sound like for a brand campaign. And in addition to that, as Jordan mentioned, Sony Music and Sonos are coming together to figure out how to best create music and technology merging. Like, creators and artists seem to be disparate at present. We want to merge creators and artists and figure out a way to use music and technology to bridge that gap.
Amazing. You mentioned it's early days for you at Sonos, Jordan, day 43, if everybody's math is correct. What kind of information are you gathering? What kind of jobs to be done are you uncovering in your early days?
I would say I did not realize. I knew people knew of Sonos and liked Sonos, But this week has been truly personally an amazing moment because everybody that I've been talking to, and the moment I say Sonos, their eyes are lighting up and smiling like this beautiful lady at the front.
Happy customer right there.
And it's just been so nice, you know? So I'm like, first of all, I made the right choice, it seems, right? So we love Sonos, but there's still so much to be done, right? We just, the company launched a new app last month, which, you know, we've received a lot of feedback from our consumers. And I can tell you that I'm reading all the comments, and I want to make sure that we address every single feedback. So that's number one. And number two, we really have an opportunity with Sonos to actually capture new consumers that the brand perhaps may not have captured in the past 20 years. The first sort of piece of insight that I've seen is that there's sort of like a bit of like one type of profile of Sonos listeners, and how do we actually invite even more people to the brand through entertainment, and that is both music but also movies and home theater, because that's the essence of where the brand started. But then how do we take the brand to the next level with headphones, which after 20 years, so many people were like, why isn't Sonos doing headphones? But we really wanted to make it the right way, and the feedback has been truly, and this is again all on the internet, the reviews were so good, and we're getting compared to other brands that, and sort of like the unique factor, which is where the second attribute of the brand is fashion as well, which you're like, oh, how is Sonos linked to fashion? We're going to be linked to fashion. But there's a few things that are coming in the pipeline with collaboration, perhaps, and I'm from a fashion and beauty background before that, and how we can actually bridge the gap, and something that you can actually wear now. You can wear Sonos, but how do we actually go further into a fashion accessory that is a unisex accessory that you can actually be really proud of and have amazing sound and sort of be in your own zone, you know, and bring that along your cantrips or, you know, your different endeavors and adventures. So it's there's a lot. And I'm very excited. There's a lot of opportunity with this brand.
That's amazing. Different ways into the brand, new product rollouts. You talked a bit earlier this week about creating those magic moments, and it sounds like the collaborations are one way you might do that.
Totally.
Yeah.
And one collaboration actually was very recently with Victoria Monet, actually as recent as last week, where there's my favorite Sonos product now, which is called the Era 300. So I don't want to get too technical, but check it out if you don't have it. And it has this incredible, I almost call it like the 3D sound system, because from that speaker, you like hear everything from all the side, behind you, in front of you, and you're like, oh my gosh, the sound is literally following me, right? And we partnered with Victoria, and she loved the product, and her and her team were like, you know what, we love it so much that we're gonna feature it in the next music video that just launched, the All Right song. And Victoria Monet, for those of you that may not know her, she won Best New Artist. She's a Sony Music artist, and she won Best New Artist at the Grammys in February. And she's a female of color, and it just means a lot to us. And the first 16 seconds of the new music video is she's just playing with the speaker, and it's, you know, that's what we mean by bridging the gap and going into culture and actually bringing Sonos to a different audience.
That's great to hear. It's like a win on so many different fronts.
Yes.
That's amazing. Jennifer, when you think about activating artists' IP beyond inclusion of a track in a TV spot, what are the conversations that you're having in that space? What do those look like?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've been talking about this all week. The paradigm of working with artists and brands is changing because of influencers and creatives, and the way that TikTok is really infringing upon everything that everyone is doing and pertaining to absorption of culture and content. And so the days of an artist having, a $10 million spokesperson opportunity are really sort of getting less and less. So we're figuring out new and innovative ways to take our artists and figure out how to use them as content creators, because that's really the way that culture, technology, and advertising is going. An example of that is one of my favorite artists that I'm super close with is Lil Nas X. We did many partnerships with him, one of which with Taco Bell, where it started with such a place of authenticity because he actually worked at Taco Bell when he was a kid in high school. The money he made while working at Taco Bell allowed him to buy the beats to use to create Old Town Road. And from there, we were able to start at the very beginning of an authentic relationship. We ended up shooting a music video entirely at a Taco Bell, showing Nas working there as an employee behind the counter. We then graduated that to creating a commercial where Lil Nas X had a custom track. He wrote it especially for Taco Bell. And then we took it even a step further, where he became the chief inclusion officer at Taco Bell. And in that role, he provided scholarships to kids that wanted to become artists of any shape and size. So we're doing things like that where it starts from a place of authenticity, but then instead of just having an artist like, holding a bottle of Coca-Cola and having a picture, having that slap behind them on stage at a concert, those days are very, very few far between. Those paychecks are very few and far between. And we're looking at ways to really do truly integrated partnerships that actually starts with an artist wanting to speak about a brand that actually maybe helped them as they were coming up, like Lil Nas X.
That's amazing. That example, you're not allowed to use it twice, I guess, because it's the answer to my next question as well. I was going to ask you about the most cohesive, best fit partnership that you've brought. Okay, good. Oh, you made me nervous there. I was like, she's answering my question.
So my last role before this, I was at Interscope. I worked with Jimmy Iovine and helped to launch Beats, which is it's a whole other story for another panel one day, maybe next year.
Sounds good.
Eminem, who's my favorite artist in the world. Eminem fans in the house, woo! Did you know that his new video, it's not my artist, I'm not allowed, but I will out of love. Do you know his new video got 65 million views in one day? Like, nobody's getting that anymore. Good for him. Good for you, Marshall. A heritage artist, like, kicking it. Anyway, Eminem loves Red Bull. Eminem does not work with brands. Eminem hates brands. He doesn't want to do partnerships. He's a very private man. He loves Red Bull. So we did something for him about 2 albums ago, my last position, as I mentioned, where we did something called, and this came all of his brain, about giving back again. It was called The Road to 8 Mile, where he held a MC battle in Detroit, in his hometown. And we positioned it and programmed it through 7-Elevens and Circle K's all over the country. And Red Bull was used as our vehicle to promote not only the partnership, but we put QR codes on the cans. Anything that you saw that had a Red Bull associated with it was a part of the whole road to 8 Mile. And then Eminem himself went to this club in Detroit, and he chose a rapper that was ending up to get a record deal with the label I was at the time, and Eminem produced the song. So that's another one. And I love Eminem. He's so nice. If anyone thinks he's not nice, he's the nicest guy in the world. Just a little plug.
Nice. Yeah, that's root to fruit the whole way through what he was able to accomplish there. I saw these lovely 2 people's schedules for Cannes. I thought I was quadruple booked the whole way through, but they're 8 times booked. What's the biggest takeaway that you have kind of gleaned over the last 3.5 days?
Before I answer that, since we're talking about our favorite artists, I have to talk about Mariah Carey.
I knew you'd get it in there somehow.
So, okay, Mariah Carey, hello. Okay, right, we love Mariah. All right, we're not going to get into that right now. Anyways, the biggest takeaway is actually just how fun and how nice and the atmosphere around Cannes Lions. And I know that most of us are industry people, and there's a lot going on. And the fact that it's not only a moment where we're talking about business, but we're also able to reconnect and network. And I've made, I feel, new friends, actually, since Sunday. And it's been a true incredible moment. So just for that, I would love to come back next year.
Maybe with Mariah.
Maybe with Mariah, who knows?
My biggest takeaway has been that I'm a really good protector of Jordan. That is my takeaway for this trip. Honestly, I've been coming for like 25 years, and every year I learn something. Every year I meet new people. But I feel like it's interesting to travel with a very good friend. I'm usually alone when I come to this, and I'm fending for myself. So I guess my biggest takeaway is being able to roll with a buddy. That's my biggest takeaway.
And I should actually say, it's thanks to her that I made it this year, because it was so hectic. She was like, you gotta come, and I need you here, and all of that. So thank you, Jennifer.
You're welcome, my love.
Amazing. Warm fuzzies to end off the panel. That's great. We wanted to open it up to any questions anybody has about Taco Bell, about Lil Nas X, about... No, not about either of those? Okay.
Hey, Julie Saxon, I'm with X. So you're 1 month in or so, and you're talking about these magic moments. Like, tell me more about like what is a magic moment, and like, do you have some on your agenda that you want to create? And I love Mariah Carey more than anything.
Thank
Fantasy.
you. We need to, maybe that's my new friend right there. We need, right? I love your outfit, by the way, you know. You have to, okay, we need to talk. We need to talk. We love X as well. So I would say, no, I forgot the question. I got so excited.
Magic moments.
Magic
What are the
moment
ones?
of Sonos. It's funny that you say that because we are redoing, because before we can start going on briefs and briefing our agency friends about what's next with Sonos and our different partners, we actually need to redefine the brand identity, tone of voice, listening to our Sonos consumers, our Sonos community, and making sure that we get the basics right. And I think that this may not be the sexy sort of thing that we may want to hear, but to me, it's like building a new house. We need to make sure that the foundations are super solid, that our app is super stable and reliable and provides the right experience before we can go further and actually create that magic. And it's funny that you talked about the word magic, because as the moment day 2, as I got in, I was like, we need to define what is that Sonos magic. So again, the magic will be around 3 different themes. Number 1, entertainment, that I mentioned before, fashion, and also sports. So those 3 key elements will be what will be showing up at and with for Sonos, and also show how our Sonos ecosystem gives you that magical moment where you're like, there's only one brand like it, and it is Sonos. So more to come on that. We're gonna spend this entire summer with my team to literally, we have offsites meetings, we're on the West Coast in LA and Santa Barbara, and literally strip down the entire brand and rebuild it from the scratch again. So I actually cannot wait until next year when we can potentially celebrate all of the things that we would have done, because you don't really have a lot of opportunities like that with a brand of that magnitude, where you can actually strip it all down, clean slate. It's not a founder-led brand. I'm one of the owners. And how do you rebuild it back up, right? And I think that cannot be done without listening to the consumers. So please continue sending the feedback, and be a part of it. So, and reach out also with ideas.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. Thanks so much, Jordan.
Thanks,
Got
everyone.
some Mariah Carey or some Too Sweet to
Yes.
walk us off. It's all good. Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you.